A mess.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers and my nieces and nephews and all of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Advice. It's time for Auntie Advice. It's time for Auntie Advice.
When I tell you that this show, when I tell you that this show needs to go, in my opinion, off the air, if we're going to keep seeing this kind of mess. Hi, y'all. This is Auntie, and we are discussing 90 Day, The Single Life, Season 5, Episode 14, The Act of Making It Official. Shout out to the members of Auntie's Advice. Hi, everybody. So glad y'all are in here. Oh, my God. I don't even know where to begin. Like, I just don't know where to begin. In this episode, let's start with Gino. In this episode, we saw Gino going to his lawyer because he finally now wants to get a divorce from Jasmine. And so he goes and see this lawyer, and the lawyer basically told him, why you wait so long? Like, what was the hold up with you getting this done? Right? And so he tells Gino what his options are. Gino is trying to discuss the paternity of the baby. There's certain things that he has to do in order to get this dissolved. And so the attorney is telling him, his attorney, Thomas Courts, is telling him, basically what he needs to do, what he can do, and that they need to act quickly because he is drawing this out. But I can't ignore the fact that Gino is a mother and father's worst nightmare, in my opinion. Because we see him bring on this little girl, Lexi. She's 26 years old, his junior. He is old enough to be his daddy, and as a matter of fact, Lexi told him that he is older than her father. Gino, I believe, is 56 years old, and he's dating a 30-year-old single mom. This little girl looked like a little girl. Now, I know she's grown. She's considered grown at 26. But Gino is grown. I know that this show pushes right up on the edge. But he would drop Natalie. And when I saw how he is dating this girl, Lexi, I started thinking, and this is just me thinking, not making any accusations, just me thinking, Did he break up with Natalie because he couldn't? This is so creepy on such another level. Like, some stuff just unacceptable. He wanted the girl. Uh, he's a nightmare. He's the type of guy that'll make you get his tags, his registration. Like, he's the type of guy that people like me who have young daughters would hate for them to date a man like Gino. With all this motherfucking baggage that he has, it just almost made me sick to see him sitting at the table with this little girl. And then he's the type of guy that's always on somebody's app looking for the next. I'm so cringed out. I'm so cringed out. It's so cringy. I gotta move on. So Liz and Pedro's friend decided they're gonna have a talk. The girls are going home. And they decided they're gonna have a talk on whether or not they're going to stay together. Liz has already admitted to the guy that she has somebody in the USA. In her opening statements that we see over and over, episode after episode, is Liz saying she never thought that she would fall for someone else. She didn't fall for him. He was a fling. He was something for her to do, something for her to, in my humble opinion, this is my opinion. Y'all let me know if I offend you. I apologize in advance. But she's someone for to me who just wants to feel better while she's going through this. And so she thinks, going through the cancer thing. And so she thinks that this was going to be something that was going to make her feel whole again. And so, in my opinion, she used this relationship with this young gentleman, right, in order to make herself feel better about what she's going through. And you should never do that. She's confused. She said that, she's the same. She's saying basically the same thing that Sophie is saying. I'm going to go here. I'm going to sow my royal oats. And then I'm going to leave this man brokenhearted. I don't have anything else on my mind but self gratification. And I don't care who I take down when I take them down. And so this guy, it just basically, has to take it as for what it is, right? In my humble opinion, this was just a one night type thing, a one trip thing. And one of the things that I do talk about is leave your souvenirs, right? Your live souvenirs there. And she at least did do that. She did not bring it home, to the US of A and act as if, this was going to be something that she was going to do on a permanent basis. I just think that she's trying not to hurt and trying not to deal with what, it is that she has to deal with as it relates to her health. Sophie played herself. In this episode, of 90 Day Single Life, season 5, episode 14. Sophie was supposed to go there and hook up with Pedro, but she knew that this was not something that she was interested in. So, of course, we all saw her a couple of episodes where she went out and met some guy that she was talking to on some type of site, right? The guy, she had nothing in common with the guy. And she, kissed him and all of that kind of stuff, right? because again, here we got this empty girl that has all of this work that she's done on her body and still is not secure in who she is or anything, right? So she goes over there and she thinks she's going to play fiddle with Pedro, right? And she's going to have her cake and eat it too. So now, her at the on last week's episode, we saw her as she went to meet up with Pedro. Pedro asked her, "Did she kiss the guy?" He was grossed out by it, right? And because he was grossed out by it, he just walked away. So of course she's standing there, right? Because she thinks she's gonna play these games. And Pedro walks away from her. Another guy probably would have did something else. And she's lucky that she's playing these little games amongst the cast members. It appears now that I saw on somebody's site that Jamal is now dating Liz. Did it was it Jamal? Like they just intermingling with each other, right? It's almost like, you messing with your second cousin, in my opinion. It's just so nasty and gross that they just passing each other back and forth. I could have sworn I saw the thing and it was Pedro. And I'm like, what the? No, not Pedro. Jamal and Liz. I thought she had somebody at home. They just going back and forth from cast member to cast member. So anyway, she has been texting Pedro, and Pedro is ignoring her. He's done with her. He doesn't want anything to do with her at all. And of course, Julia is getting in between the mix of it, right? Because this is all a game for Julia. And she needs to take her pregnant butt home. But anyway, I digress. And she takes the phone from her and she calls. And of course, Pedro does not pick up the phone. Pedro is done with Sophie. Sophie said that she is not interested in dating. So why is she trying to hold on? She believes that, Pedro should at least, give her an opportunity to say, I'm done with you. I think that Pedro has said, I'm done with you. I think that Pedro has given her the closure that she needs. He is at his hotel. He is packing. He said that he was scheduled to go out the next day and he changed his flight and he's going out the same day. I don't blame Pedro. Nobody has time to be playing games with Sophie. And so, of course, Sophie is acting as if, she has been wronged in this situation. Y'all let me know whether or not y'all believe that Sophie has been treated poorly by Pedro. I don't think so. I think that when she first got there, Pedro, even though I don't like Pedro, don't get it twisted. But Pedro rolled out the red carpet for this girl. He had the van decorated, all nice and everything. He rolled out the carpet. He's given her jewelry. He's had her meet his friends and stuff like that. They had a night out at the bar, and she is just not accustomed to having someone to treat her nicely. And when it came to her, in my opinion, with the idea, because I think a lot of this is pushed by the producers, right? But when he came to her with the idea of them being together, right? She should have said no. I don't want to act this role. I don't want to do this. But from me looking on the outside for an average date, right? He definitely, right, tried to make it nice for her. She couldn't even appreciate any of the things. Julia did, but she couldn't because she's adamant about, I want to be single. I want to know how it feels to be single. Okay, so then you shouldn't have went to go and see Pedro because you and Pedro were on the wrong page or on different pages. And it is what it is. So Pedro's gone. She's left brokenhearted because she thinks that, who she is as a person is good enough to be, playing in somebody's face. I don't blame Pedro. What I did not like is Pedro trying to talk down to her, make her feel insecure about herself, right? by saying that nobody's ever going to want you, nobody's going to ever love you, nobody's going to treat you like that. I did not like that because I don't think that another person has a right to tell someone what they're worthy of, what they'll get in the future, what they deserve in the future, because you're a little heartbroken. I thought Pedro was out of line for saying that to Liz, and I thought that it absolutely was not fair for him to say anything like that. Moreover, he's got some things that he's going to have to reap, okay, based on how he treated Chantel and her family. And her family. Because I will never forget the episode in the season when he was fighting Puddle, okay, which is River. Y'all know I call him Puddle, in their mom and them house. I will never forget that he did that. And that he played Chantel. We all saw it. Chantel did not see it. She was trying to fight for that relationship. And the way that he treated her, the way that he tried to allegedly take the girl's money from her, Pedro got some things he needs to reap. He sold them. Now sit your down and reap them. You're not gonna be lover boy on the show. She embarrassed the out of him. Now both of them wrong, okay, in my opinion, and I can just pinpoint for myself, right? What I think about it. Kim feels like she does not need to be judged. Am I on another show? Let's talk about Vanya first. Because I feel like I be mixing shows up. But let's talk about Vanya. Vanya is in this delusional ass relationship with Tony. She lets Tony give her highs and lows. Vanya is still sitting at the house with his parents. She didn't gave him some cupcakes that got destroyed. They were gracious and ate them. Now, the mama asked her about being at church. Do you think that this is something you want to do? She said, no, I ain't coming. I'm not visiting. I'm not doing any of that. I came from a country that, what she say, had three primary religions. And I'm thinking, girl, honey, downtown to the USA, I don't know how many we got. But anyway, and she had talked earlier about her circumstances that she was going through growing up. And so, you can understand it. But she told Tony's parents straight to their face, I'm not interested, I'm not going, and I'm not going to change my mind about it. Like, I'm not interested. So the parents were very gracious and everything. When the parents leave up out of there, right, Tony tells Vanya, I got something for you. And so he goes and gets a box. And then okay, calm down, Auntie. He has the audacity to put it in a little box as if it's a wedding ring. I thought that was so cruel because when she opened up that box, in a ring box with a light on it, there sits a key to his home. What a smack in her face. She's thinking, like any other woman would be thinking, there's a ring in this ring box, not a key. So he gives her a key to the house. He's completely playing games because if you looked at him, when the parents opened the invitation for her to come to the church and she said, no, hey, I'm not going or anything like that, you could see in his face that he was done with her then. He was done with Vanya. But he goes on Valia, whatever her name is, and he goes on with her with this mess. Then they go out and start looking for homes. For what? They can't even get along. There's been not one episode where they have gotten along. They are in constant dispute with one another. Constantly. They're not on the same page. But she's a pygmisha. She just wants to be picked. And I hate to say that about her, but this is what it is. She wants to be picked. And then she puts, I'm going to put my foot down. I guess Tony and I are going to break up. You and Tony ain't never been in no relationship. Tony got some from you when you came back from your vacation. Okay. After he got that, he said, okay, I can permanently do her for a couple of months. Let me give her a key and make her think that she's graduated to, girl, bye. I wouldn't even have taken the key. I don't need a key to your house. I got my own house. This. Why do I need a key to your house? When I could turn the key in other places. So now we're left with this cliffhanger on whether or not her and Tony are together, whether she's leaving Tony, he's walking up the beach, she's walking down. I said, this is some bull right here. But let's go ahead on and talk about Kim and get on up out of here. Of course, we know Kim is still over there seeing Wayne. This is the day where Kim is supposed to be going, to meet his kids, his two daughters. Okay? Both her and Jamal. Now, we know in last week's episode, Jamal said that his job is to be Kim's son. I'm sure that we all got that and understood what he meant by that, right? So now Kim, of course, has this dilemma. Does she or does she not tell Wayne that she had gave two kids up for adoption? Jamal is pushing it for some reason, and I think that she does not owe Wayne that. I just don't think she owes him that. That's her first time going to see him. Yes, she has been talking to him, but she doesn't know him and he doesn't know her. Plus, he's short. Now I can see he was like 6'4". I can see, but nah. And so she's apprehensive about meeting them and all this kind of stuff. So they get together, and the girls are pleasant. They're absolutely beautiful. Um, he has absolutely created a safe space for himself because he will not say that he and Kim are in a relationship. They're getting to know friends, but he's not her boyfriend. I like Wayne, and I like how he has handled her. I thought that he was very mature. The girls were mature. Kim asked the question, what are your dad's flaws or whatever? And so, the daughter has said that, he doesn't like people who have baggage. And so Kim, of course, got offended by it because she knows that she has enough luggage for all of us to go on a cruise, for 30 of us to go on a cruise ship and not have to take one piece of luggage, not even a carry on the plane to get to the cruise ship. She say that she took Jamal with her, right? Because she wanted Jamal to be a safeguard or a guardrail for her. But she steady went into this relationship with this man. After the girl said that, Wayne doesn't really want someone who has a lot of baggage, she says, now I see why Wayne is married. No, is not married. No, Wayne was married. He got into a relationship out of obligation. And so now Wayne wants to make a decision, right? An educated decision, a conscious decision of when he chooses to be in a marriage, because he was in a marriage, according to him, for 14 years because he felt obligated from a baby. And so now he's taking his time. He's an older man. He has his own place. His daughters are grown. He's done the work. And now he wants to make sure that whoever he connects himself to, this is who he wants to be with. There is absolutely, in my humble opinion, nothing wrong with Wayne being single. But Kim sees it as a bad thing because she likes to jump head first into relationships without having um any real relationship outside of marriage with a guy or outside of a commitment. I think that dating is wonderful. It is a time to explore, right? What she needs to do is not get caught up in one guy. Let me tell y'all something. If you are dating, it is for collection. It's collecting data. When you are in a committed relationship, engaged, or really seriously going down that road, then you should be committed to one person. But if you're dating, be smart about it. But you don't have to be dating one person. You have no commitment and no obligation to just date one person unless you are committing to be married. Women and men should explore other people. That's my opinion about it. You should not be locked down in one relationship. Kim's problem is that she's looking for marriage automatically when he is not looking for that. He wants to enjoy dating her and probably other people. Even when she asked him, on the train, was he dating other people? And he said no. Suppose he had said yes. They're not in a committed relationship. They don't even know each other. They've just been online doing the thing. Now, when she got there, they had a great time with Jamal and the daughters. And then Kim goes back the next day and she has dinner at Wayne's house. Wayne cooks a nice little dinner for her. I thought, yeah, I was just like, okay, he got a little nice little home. And, he cooks for her. And I love a man that cooks, right? Ain't nothing wrong with a man that cooks. And Kim enjoys it and everything. And now she wants to, she's starting to feel some things for him. He's still very guarded, if y'all notice. And so they go over on the sofa, and Kim decides that she wants to tell Wayne that she has two adopted children. She said that the oldest, that the son reached out to her and found her on that little ancestry website. And the moment that she told him that she had two children that she gave up for adoption, what was the next thing she said? Don't judge me. Kim, we're going to judge you. Wayne has a right to judge you. It's up to you to clear it up. And why are you so worried about judgment? You say, then she tries to manipulate him by saying, either you accept me the way, you accept me, or you don't. That's so manipulative to me. That goes without saying. But she wants him to say exactly what he said. Oh, I'm not going to judge you. It's okay. The daughters have already said that he don't want anyone that has baggage. Kim got baggage. He says, basically everybody got their little stuff, right? They got their little baggage. Kim said everybody got their baggage. But everybody's baggage ain't two kids that they gave up for adoption from the same daddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's the magnitude of the baggage that you got. Some people get on the plane with a carry on and they're able to enjoy wherever they're going with that. Some people get on the plane with four big, huge pieces of luggage and a carry on. So every bag, all your baggage isn't equal. I'm sorry, Kim. That's very heavy. She said, I think he's going to think that I'm a selfish person. Kim, I think you were. You had no intentions of looking for your children, but you want, you don't want what comes with that. You don't want. So here's the thing, because I'm really trying to be careful about what I say. Kim, you're judging yourself and you don't want to take real, true ownership of what you did. You want to say, I'm a new person, bygones and bygones. I did that. I get to move on. And you do. After you take real true ownership. Because from my perspective, Kim is trying to take credit, in my opinion, for the reunification. And I don't really know how to articulate really what I'm thinking about it and what I feel about it. But there's no real true, in my opinion, accountability. She is profiting off of this. In the earlier part, when we first were introduced to this, or this was first introduced to us, I was like, Kim should have done her own show because her storyline is up and down, right? It's Kim and the adoption, and then Kim and pursuing a new relationship with Wayne. And then now they're trying to merge the two of these together by having her say something to Wayne, but it's just not quite fitting. I really believe that Kim should have negotiated. This my opinion. Y'all let me know y'all's down in the chat. But I think that Kim should have negotiated and said, I'm going to talk about one subject matter and that's going to be it. I am not going to intertwine the two of this. Because what's going on with Kim and her children that she gave up for adoption, Jamal being hurt by this, is a separate subject matter that should be handled differently than we just gonna keep moving on. Yeah, I said that. Hi, baby. Yeah, I announced that Jamal is supposed to be sleeping with Liz. Like, what's Liz trying to do? I think the adoption should have been done on a spinoff show, and she should have negotiated for that because they just don't fit together. And telling Wayne, I don't think that even when they were kissing, y'all, let's just discuss it. When they was kissing for the last time, it was a bunch of packs. Okay, I like you. Okay, I'll be back. Wayne ain't interested. I doubt very seriously if Wayne and Kim are going to be together because I just don't think he's interested in her like that. And I think dropping that heavy subject matter on him, I gave my two kids up for adoption, and here this man sacrificed 14 years to make sure that his girls had a father figure in it. They come from two different paths, and I don't see them connecting at all. And finally, Courtney. Courtney's engaged. They told Colt he had to move out the house. So he's going to go back, is it to Brazil, y'all, to be with this girl and see if it works with her. Instead of taking his ass to go and live with his mama and get himself together, he's going to become or try to become a burden on someone else. A woman, of course. Courtney and her boo sat down with him and said, look, it's time for you to go. We're trying to move on in this relationship. You've been, manipulating and laying up in here. And if we don't cut this off now, we're never going to cut it off. And Courtney not only cut it off and told him he had to move out, but she also told him, I'm not going to even remain a friend to you. Courtney knows she lying. She's lying. This man is too old for Courtney. For the stuff that Courtney wants, he's too old. And it's okay. Because for everybody, age isn't a number. I used to date older guys when I was younger. It was just what I was into. I just did not like young guys or guys my age. But I had a limit too of how old I would go. But I don't date young. Like, I ain't going back. It just doesn't seem real. I know that they just released, their engagement video and her ring and all of that kind of stuff. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Anyway, I ain't gonna spend another further on them. Y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. I think they're gonna do a tell all. Not really sure, but if they do the tell all, I'll come out and talk about it, right? But I'll be so glad when these people go off my screen. Like, people are sad because they're not doing pillow talk and stuff. I don't even watch that stuff, right? Because what you're not gonna do is inundate my whole life and my mind about TOC on TOC shows. I don't have it to do. I don't have the tolerance for it. I think it's a whole bunch of foolishness. And I think that these are some of the weirdest people. I'm gonna say weird, but it's another word I wanna use, and it starts with the P, but these are some of the weirdest people. And they're just getting even weirder. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. And until we meet again, y'all be safe in those streets and in the water. Now, I was going to wait a minute before I close. I was going to do a review tonight on my other channel, which is Auntie's Advice Podcast. I have the video. I have the video up, right? I have not clicked and done it yet. I had it scheduled for later tonight, but I know I got a job. And so I am going to do it tomorrow. It is about the Murdaughs. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Murdaugh trial. And basically that was Alex Murdaugh, right? And he gained national attention last year because he was accused of killing and basically murdering his wife Maggie and his youngest son Paul. And he did this near the dog kennels of their estate, right? And the estate was known as Moselle, right? And so basically, this happened on, I believe it was June 7th, of 2021, where, this happened. They later found out he's an attorney and he comes from a lineage of attorneys. In South Carolina, they were the family, they were the name. Okay. Well, we found out today that he's getting a new trial. And I'm going to be talking about that on my other channel, Auntie's Advice Lifestyle Podcast, and I'll be doing that tomorrow. So make sure that you are subscribed over there because I'm going to try to start doing them over there. I keep saying I'm going to do them, but until I do it, I'm not going to do it. So make sure you subscribed over there at that channel where I will be talking about Alex Murdaugh. I have been obsessed. I don't know if you all know it, right? Ray Delacy. Ray Delacy, all because of Clerk of Court Becky. Yes. Yes. And I can't wait to talk about it. I don't know if y'all know how much of a crime buff I am. I have been like this since the days of Nancy Drew, growing up as a little girl. I am absolutely, totally obsessed, right, with crime and these crime cases and stuff like that. But my life has been so busy lately, right, that I have not been consistent with hardly anything other than taking care of people. And that's just the daggone truth. But I am going to be talking about that tomorrow. I'm hoping that you all take an opportunity to look at the Giulio Fulio case that I just covered. I'm going to be covering one of the gentlemen in that case. And so, you all, his name is Sean. So y'all make sure that y'all check it out because it's going to be done over there and not over here. Okay. So make sure that you're following me over there. I am coming back to my coffee and crime. Um, so follow me over there because I don't want to be mixing topics over here too much more. Okay. So follow me there. Anyway, y'all check me out tomorrow. Again, make sure, would you say I watch interrogations interesting? I do too. Yazelle said, I cannot believe he's getting another trial after lying over and over again. Well, like Ray Della said, it's because of the clerk of the court, Becky. Okay. Gamma Marie said, I watched the trial. It was so freaking like obsessed. Like obsessed. Like could not get enough. Cannot get enough. I still watch people having discussions about it because I'm very interested in it. And I have a sister, right, who lives in that state. And so, I be calling her for the tea, girl, what's going on? So, like, I'm very interested in crime. There is another case of a woman who killed her husband. I can't think of her name right off with, fentanyl poisoning. And I think she just got sentenced today. And she was so nasty. Now, during her trial, she was cool in the game, but at her sentencing, she didn't have anything else to lose. So she showed her, her complete a-hole today in that courtroom when people were um giving their comments and stuff before sentencing. She was so rude and so nasty. And I was like, it's a shame because, she did all of it for money. It's amazing what people will do for money. But anyway, I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. I am way past my bedtime. Yes, yes, that's her name. Okay, you said, Courtney, get on your nerve today. Okay, so I'll be discussing that and other things too, because that's what I watch and that's what I love to watch. So anyway, if you love to watch it, make sure you did Ray Della put the channel in the thing? Let me see if Ray Della put it in there. The name of that channel. No, she didn't. It's okay. She'll put it in. But anyway, I love y'all. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Love y'all. Bye.